Well, here we are again, and again.
So yes, a little, definitely yoga as a way to start your morning every day is really important. Sitting up straight, gentle yoga.
Gentle yoga. What is gentle yoga?
When you get up in the morning.
So you're saying be kind as possible to yourself.
Yes.
I mean, because I mean, it is a subjective, stance. I mean, what might be gentle for me in yoga may not be gentle for someone else. So, depending on what I'm getting at is, what do you mean by gentle? And I think what I interpret is, be kind to yourself. Treat
I
yourself.
think that's the only way to do yoga.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
People think extreme and stretching and it should be a very kind of
natural.
organic rhythm. Yeah, natural. Very natural.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. That seems to be the right path here. It also means you can, using that as a template, what we're doing, and not forgetting that, you can overlay different schools of yoga. You can put different. You can practice this form of a sadhu, or you can practice this form of more of a householder. Sadhu in heart consciousness here. In Patanjali's yoga, there's different levels of samadhi, different levels of awareness of absorption into the infinite possibilities of the universe. Excuse me, I just my neck.
There's mainly two different samadhis, though. Distinguishable.
Which would you think those are? How would you define those two?
One is sustained by your own thoughts or somehow your own ego or your own will. And another one is more relaxed. It just is allowed to.
It's just who you are. It's just, well, of course. Well, how's there's a better way of doing this? I'm open to suggestion, but you know.
Someone just flows natural, or one of them you get ready, you're sitting, you're getting meditative, you're going through some exercises.
So the samadhis, and I think you're accurate in describing this, that are described are levels of what you're saying. I'm trying to interpret what you're saying into classical yogic form. It would mean the nature of you, me, that part that's observing here, interpreting, that would come to the smallest possible interaction but still be a coherent personality structure in the immensity of the universe. It's a bindu point, kind of. And we're able to get close to that. So I think that's the concept here.
Most smallest, most subtle. At the same time, infinite.
The dynamic that it's always worked and always reminds me is this expansion between infinitely small and infinitely large. That expansion, that movement is the dynamic of this whole experience. And when I can visualize that, it almost automatically invokes the Kundalini.
You start feeling a buzzing in your chakras.
Yes, yes.
And somebody comes tells you.
Overwhelming.
In my case, dear friend Exaldo, he's like, are you feeling that chakra inside you? Or can you feel that you're inside of that chakra?
You gotta be inside the chakra.
And then
that's the trick.
When you start realizing,
there's a trick.
Realizing that buzzing is, you know, what you feel to be buzzing inside your own body is actually every buzz, every twitch in your body. There's some buzz or twitch out there in the infinite.
You're trying to say the infinite's twitching?
It twitches and breathes, and yes, it does everything. And
so you gotta go with the flow.
Itself
go with the flow. Don't worry about it. Right?
And everything. And there's a lot of joy and love out there, just floating in creation. And it manifests planets.
That's
and life,
the trick, guys.
And
focus on what you would like to have for yourself, right? You want love, joy, happiness? Focus on that, right? What would that look like? What could that look like in a practical form for your own psychological, biological profile? You know, you have to fit it into it. But what would it look like? Well, we're doing our best here. This is what it looks like for us, you know? But that's the choice we all make, you know? What price do you pay for whatever form of comfort that you've decided you can settle for? I mean, where does that economy of that come into the equation of your life? You know? There's a price for everything. What form of attention, you know, for example, to hold this household together, what form of attention does it require to keep this particular image stable in all the matrices of you know, all the stuff it takes to own property and move through time and space this way, you know? You know, it's, if you thought about it, what it takes, but it's set up, you set it up in subroutines, you set it up in managed responsibilities, and it works that way. Now, I was trying to think of some kind of analog to my own body, you know, how I set up cognizant parts of relationships to my own heart, for example, or my own respiratory system, or my digestive, how I set up modes of communication so I can feel that they can be brought together. Try to listen to the deeper needs of my own body, you know, and understand what's going on and try to fix some of the problems, you know, that I have just sillily ignored. So, and I think that's true for all of us to some degree. So, you allow yourself to become Shiva. Just allow it. So what else am I going to be? And you set the navel. If you're going to do Kundalini Yoga, you're going to play this game with Shiva, you have to know how to do this. You have to set the navel. You gotta set it extremely tight. But it's natural. You know how to do this. The locks are set. These are the bandhas. Force fields, as you wish, set in the biodynamics of this form. You've practiced it through the muscular control. The dynamic now becomes set, Set. Stabilizes the lower triangle completely. And once that's there, you can elevate your state of awareness, perceptual awareness, to a multidimensional framework. Or at least extremely savant type expanded consciousness, and still have the stability of relationship, not to become distracted. This state of consciousness, by nature, opens up whatever you can imagine, whatever form of visualization you can imagine, it opens up. And in that hall of mirrors of yourself, looking at yourself over and over again, there has to be a stability there, a point of reference that we call ourselves. And that point of reference has to be in the here and now, right? This is it. Has to be in the body, completely as possible to imagine and feel. That point of contact with Ik Onkar. That contact, and that means creator, creation. There's no difference. The observer and the observed are the same. The one who's watching the play, the one who's creating the play, are all part of the same dynamic. And when you get a feeling of looking at that, and what else can you ascribe it to except the joy of the creator creating the mindscape of its own self? And you have to give it joy. We would be really silly. We'd be really stupid not to subscribe to joy, happiness, health. So it's what you make it to be. And it has to come into your body. Talk about it all you want. But you have to live it. I love this Shiva. Okay, I'm going to stop that now. I'm going to stop it now. We'll come back to it. It's not going to be too long.